Greetings, everyone, and welcome to, what are we on? part 8. Is that 8? Yes, 8. Sorry, it's very late when I'm doing this. Part 8 of the 2012 overview of my DVD and Blu-ray collection. Last time we took a look at the mostly 80s cartoons and some other cartoons, basically mainly kid stuff. Today, we're actually going to look at, rather than looking at a full 2 shelves, we're actually going to look at about a shelf and a half. And then we'll look at the other half of the second shelf and the shelf below it next time. So this particular shelf and a half deals with comedy. You got some foreign films, and then some weird stuff, and some movie collections. And yeah, just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff that isn't really enough to take up its own shelf, but kind of fits a combined shelf quite nicely. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Okay, so we have quite a hodgepodge of stuff on these couple of shelves here. So basically we're going to cover all of this shelf in this episode and then go up to here, because then from here on we're getting into stuff based on comic books, and that's going to be the subject of the next video. So yeah, so let's take a look at what we got here. So let's start at the top here, where we actually have some Christmas stuff. I don't have anywhere near as many Christmas DVDs as I used to. I really need to rebuild that collection. So here we have the Emerald edition of A Christmas Carol, which for a long time was the best edition available. Now, however, the best edition available is this one, which we took a look at in the Blu-ray release. There is a Blu-ray release of this one, however, it revealed that they used a lot of digital noise reduction and whatnot, and you know, the detail just isn't anywhere near as sharp as the other edition. So anyway, check out the Blu-ray updates to see that. And of course, we have A Christmas Story. This is also on Blu-ray, and I'd actually really like to get the Blu-ray edition of that. However, it is missing some of the extras, so I might end up hanging on to this one as well. And then we have a couple of adaptations of stories by Raymond Briggs. We've got Father Christmas and The Snowman, which are both quite nice for the family at the during the holidays. And then here we have the original British version of The Office, the complete series 1 and 2, and the special. I actually still have to finish watching this. And before anyone asks, I have not seen a single episode of the American version. Well, I've seen a few snippets and clips here and there, and I definitely like what I've seen. I mean, Steve Carell is just freaking hilarious. So I will check that out at some point, but I'm very adamant about finishing watching the British series first. And there we go. And then here we have all 3 seasons of The Newsroom, which in many ways is almost like a precursor to The Office. Actually, I think it actually has a little more in common with the Larry Sanders Show. It's kind of a satirical look at the making of the news and such. It's a comedy, drama, satire kind of thing. But really good stuff. Canadian production. One of my favorites. Not everybody's cup of tea, but I really like it a lot. And then we have Buffalo Bill, the complete series. It says the complete first and second seasons, but it's actually, you know, the complete series. Great stuff. Dabney Coleman is just a completely, you know, just a complete jerk of a character. He's really, really hilarious. But that's a great show. Classic from the 80s there. And then here, I actually just did a video about these fairly recently. We got the Mill Creek Entertainment re-releases of Rosanne seasons 1 and 2 and Third Rock from the Sun seasons 1 and 2. The big deal about these, of course, is these are the complete uncut original network broadcast versions, not the cut down syndicated versions that appeared on the previous DVD releases. Well, specifically Rosanne season 1 and the Third Rock season 2 was uncut in the original releases. But yeah, good stuff, and really cheap too. You can find them for as little as $5 a season, which is pretty cool. And this is all I've got left of my Trailer Park Boys collection, sadly. I still need to rebuild that. after selling it off in 2010. It's a really nice complete series set out, actually, in a big like beer gut or cheeseburger gut cooler. So I might get that. But this one I kept because it's kind of a collector's item. It's got the conky finger puppet. This is the original release of the Christmas special. The version of the Christmas special that's widely available now is the so-called Dope and Liquor edition, which actually has different extras from this one. So I hang on to this for the finger puppet and just the fact that it's an alternate edition. And then we have the Jackass library. Let's take a look here. We got Jackass the box set, which is pretty much everything from the TV show. Jackass the Lost Tapes, which is everything else from the TV show. The special edition of Jackass the movie, unrated. Jackass number 2, unrated. And Jackass 2.5, unrated. Now, I have not seen Jackass 3 or Jackass 3.5, so yeah, I need to get caught up on those at some point. But needless to say, I do enjoy me some Jackass. What can I say? And just hold on a second, I'm crushing conky. There we go. Okay. And then I guess we'll just grab another handful. Some more comedies. We got Real Genius, which was the first college comedy I ever saw. Val Kilmer, really funny in that. I really wish he'd do some more comedy. And then we got Silver Streak, classic with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. They did a lot of movies together back in the 70s and 80s. Zoolander, of course, and The Hoax with Richard Gere, which I still haven't watched that one, actually. I should definitely check that one out. And then we have Not Another Teen Movie, the original release, and the director's cut version. The reason I have both of these is because they actually have different extras. Most of the extras are ported over to this one. However, there's a really good cast commentary on this that is not on this version. So, actually, I think there's a couple of commentary tracks on there that are not on the other version. So, yeah. I know a lot of people don't like these types of movies, like Scary Movie and all those. But this one, I think, was really a lot better than those, and it came out before the sort of craze of all these genre parody movies as well. And this basically makes fun of a lot of the movies that I grew up with, namely, a lot of the John Hughes stuff from the 80s, such as Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which was awesome. This is not the Bueller edition. The reason I have this particular edition is because it actually has a commentary track by John Hughes, which has never appeared on any other edition. So this is actually the original DVD release, which is long out of print now. So if you find it, grab it, because sadly John Hughes is no longer with us, and that's one of the few opportunities you have to actually, get some insight from the man himself. Then we have some Get Smart stuff. We got The Nude Bomb, which was the theatrical movie. Get Smart Again, which was the TV reunion movie. And Get Smart, the mid-90s series, which only lasted seven episodes. But good stuff. And, of course, up top there, which you can't see from this angle, I do actually have the complete series of the original 60s show as well. And then we have Kids in the Hall, Brain Candy, and actually another Kids in the Hall over here, which should be with it, which is the original pilot episode of the show. Sadly, I don't have any of my season sets anymore. However, they did just put out a new complete series set of Kids in the Hall, which I would really like to get my hands on. And then we have the View Askewniverse stuff here. Let's take a look. We have, can we fit all of them on? I think we can fit all of them. Let's try. We have Clerks, the animated series. Clerks X, the 10th anniversary edition. Mallrats, the 10th anniversary edition, which includes the extended version and the theatrical version. Chasing Amy from the Criterion collection. Which number is this? Criterion collection number 75. There we go. And then we have the deluxe edition of Dogma, the 2-disc special edition of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and, well, I guess I'll put this here. And then we have Jay and Silent Bob do Degrassi, The Next Generation. So that is essentially my entire Kevin Smith collection at this point in time. So a lot of these have come out on Blu-ray since. However, some of them have questionable transfers. Apparently the Clerks one is quite nice. The Chasing Amy one is crap. Mallrats, I'm not sure. Dogma, I think, is okay, but I'm not sure if it has all the extras. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back doesn't have all the extras. Yeah, so kind of waiting to see all of these movies get the proper treatment that they deserve, because I love them. I think they're great, and I've watched them numerous times. Let's just move this one over for the moment here. Here we have Anchorman, which at the time of this recording was just announced there's going to be an Anchorman 2. And then we have Anchorman, Wake Up Ron Burgundy, which is one of the most creative uses of deleted scene footage I've ever seen, because they actually took a lot of outtakes and whatnot and edited them using a loose plot of new material to create a sequel movie. And very heavy on the voiceover narration to explain why things that don't really make sense. Yeah, and then here we have Paperman with Ryan Reynolds. I actually still have to watch this one. I got to check that one out because I do like some Ryan Reynolds. And speaking of John Hughes, we have this beautiful Region 2 set, the John Hughes High School Yearbook, where we have Weird Science, 16 Candles, and The Breakfast Club. And there's loads of extras here that are not available in the various Region 1 editions. And then we have Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the extraordinarily deluxe edition. This is really nice. Look how shiny and beautiful it is. This actually just recently came out on Blu-ray. I still have to double check and see if all the extras are on there. If it is, I will definitely be upgrading because apparently it looks really good. And then we got some stand-up comedy type stuff here. We got Jerry Seinfeld, I'm Telling You for the Last Time, which was one of his last sort of big tours. George Carlin, You Are All Diseased, which is hilarious. And The Aristocrats, which is 100 comedians telling the dirtiest joke ever. And it's absolutely hilarious. The Gilbert Gottfried segment in particular is just priceless. Then we have a compilation of Triumph, the Insult Comic Dog. You can't go wrong with some Triumph. Yes, something to poop on. And then we have a little foreign films section here. Let's check them out. We got Avalon, which is another one from Mamoru Oshii. You may recall from one of the previous episodes, I actually have a Mamoru Oshii film collection, which you can check out in the anime section, or the video where I went over the anime collection. And we have Kagemusha, which is a classic samurai epic from Akira Kurosawa. Ran, which is another classic samurai epic from Akira Kurosawa. Criterion collection, very big collector's item right there. And Battle Royale, the uncut special edition. That is the director's cut. I am definitely going to pick up the Blu-ray edition of this that just came out at the time of this recording. I'd really like to get the, obviously the deluxe one. But I want to double check and see that it still has all the special features that are on this edition. If not, I'll just hang on to this and get the Blu-ray as well. And let me just move in here. And then we have The Five Deadly Venoms, City of God, and Gojira. So some of these, I know this one actually just came out in a Criterion edition. So once again, excuse me, I want to compare the extras and stuff. This is actually a really, really snazzy edition from, the heck put this one out, Classic Media. Yeah, Classic Media did a bunch of the old Godzilla movies in nice sort of book editions like that. It's very cool. So we'll pop that in there. Okay, so then moving down to this shelf here, we have sort of a variety of stuff. We've got Sherlock Holmes' Greatest Mysteries with 8 movies and the complete 39-episode TV series, American series, starring Ronald Howard as Sherlock Holmes. Great stuff. It's a nice tin collection from Mill Creek. And then we have Alfred Hitchcock, The Legend Begins, which is 20 of Alfred Hitchcock's early films. These are great sets from Mill Creek Entertainment. I did some videos about them. I should mention any DVDs here where I've done videos about them previously, like in-depth reviews or overviews or whatever. I will put the links to those videos in the description. So if there's anything here that you're wanting more information about, check the description and see if maybe I've done a video about it. And you can check that out at your leisure. So let's just move these over here because we won't be getting to that section until the next video. So yeah, so again, we sort of have some foreign films here and some miscellaneous stuff. We've got M, Fritz Lang's M. This is a Region 2 edition. Control, which is, what's this one about again? It's based on, it's based on the story of Ian Curtis, late singer from Joy Division. And then we have Once Were Warriors, which has Tamura Morrison, who you may all know as Django Fett, and numerous clone troopers. Well, this apparently is one of the better things that he's done. And, well, actually, he was pretty badass as Django, too. But, yeah. So, anyway, that's pretty cool. And then here we have 80 Blocks from Tiffany's, which is a hard-hitting documentary about some real-life gangs in New York at the time. And then we have Last Supper, and this is meant to be like a prison dinner tray. This is a cool documentary about the people who prepare the meals, the last meals for people who are on death row. So quite an interesting documentary. This was sent to me by Disc Junkie a while back. Very cool stuff. So here we get into kind of my weird TV shows and stuff. I kind of like to group these together. We have Nowhere Man. If you like The Prisoner, I highly recommend checking out Nowhere Man. Really underrated show. Sadly, only lasted one season. I think this set is still in print, but this is a really nice collection that Image Entertainment put together. 9 discs, very cool. And then we got a bunch of David Lynch stuff, which, you know, kind of goes nicely with Nowhere Man. We've got Blue Velvet, the special edition. Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, which is the prequel movie to Twin Peaks, the TV series, which is, you know, one of my all-time favorite shows. I think it's just fantastic. And I love it. Okay. And then we kind of get into some westerns and stuff and collections. We have The Magnificent Seven, which is just fantastic. It was basically a western remake of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. And then we have some wonderful movie collections from Mill Creek Entertainment. I love these guys. These all cost me like $10-12, no more than that. I mean, they were dirt cheap. So we have Warriors, which is a collection of 50 so-called, hold on a second. There we go. Sword and Sandal movies, or peplum, as they're called. 10,000 Ways to Die, which is some spaghetti westerns. Spaghetti westerns, which is, well, a collection of 20 spaghetti westerns. And then Spaghetti Westerns, a 44 movie pack. Needless to say, I haven't watched all the movies in these collections, but I have watched quite a few of them, and I just love them. I mean, they're crappy quality prints, and, you know, jumpy as hell. But, I mean, to me, that's all just part of the charm. I mean, these are all pretty low-budget movies to begin with. And, you know, I don't know, it just adds to the flavor for me. Plus, I mean, there's a lot of obscure movies in here that you just won't find anywhere else, and that alone is worth the price of admission. Plus, I mean, the sets are dirt cheap. I mean, come on, you're spending like $10 and getting 50 movies. Who cares if some of them are stinkers, you know? As long as you get 1 or 2 good ones in there, you're good to go. But, yeah. So that's pretty much it for this episode. Next time around, we're going to take a look at the other half of this shelf, which is a bunch of stuff based on comics, and then move down to the next shelf, which finishes off that section and gets into some other stuff. Alrighty, that is it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.